her, and afterward, Freya and Odin both revealed they had been watching closely. Then, Fenrir had drawn Thor to actually fight in Midgard. Mads felt they'd hit a sweet spot. Beatrice had hired out all the earthbound thugs, and Mads had personally put a bullet through most of them. The foes that were too powerful for them to handle pulled Asgard's attention. Now that they were all defeated, it seemed like their team was finally entering calmer seas. Hence the motorcycle. The Barrow Company currently operated 8 digs, a huge number in this line of work. Most were dead ends, but to Mads's surprise and Barrow's delight, the head of operations here in Denmark had found an anachronistic statue hidden deep inside a cave outside Kitmoller. He had first reported it as a potential hoax, not realizing it fit a pattern the Barrow team had kept secret. All the pieces of Freya they'd located were in caves near marble statues carved with amazing detail that far surpassed what her Viking worshippers were known for. When Barrow heard a dig had found another of the larger-than-life statues, he immediately sent Mads out. By the time Mads landed, the team had even recovered the box hidden inside the chamber. Barrow told the head of archaeology they were interested in the site as potentially being used over multiple centuries and wished to study how the various layers of habitation had interacted and blah, blah, blah. That part of the job didn't interest Mads. He was here to get the box and bring it back to Iceland so Terra, Leif, and Harris Barrow could crack it open. That meant riding a private jet and a motorcycle, not digging through the muck. The chill of autumn in the north cut through him as he finally reached Kitmoller. He was definitely going to spend the night. He didn't want to ride back to Copenhagen in the cold. He had looked online and found a few decent-looking spots for dinner. He would check with the head of the dig for recommendations. He reached the dig and dismounted his motorcycle, putting his helmet on the seat and his gloves in his pocket. He didn't bother to remove the keys from the ignition. There was nothing dangerous out here. The dig lay outside Kitmoller, between a national park and an area of low lakes and bogs. Mads didn't know why the ancient Vikings had decided to venerate Freya here, but he supposed all the better, warmer land in the south was too densely occupied. Better to raid those balmy places than actually live there, seemed to be the ancient thinking. Mads grabbed his duffel. He wanted to retrieve the box and get back on the bike quickly. No fun in being this far away from an actual city. However, the dig site had become a sort of town of its own. They had a pair of guards, one near the cave and the other trying to stay awake while overseeing a team working at a table with some fancy-looking camera. Mads always noticed security people first. Besides the guards, 5 others were visible. 2 at the table with the camera, 2 carrying bags out from under a tent, and 1 coming toward him. "Mr. Jostad, good afternoon. You made good time." A woman with a shock of white hair and tight wrinkles from years spent out in the elements greeted him as he approached the tent set up over the mouth of a cave.
"You must be Professor Sorensen."
Mads stuck out his hand to shake. "Yes, but please call me Olivia."
"Only if you call me Mads. Mr. Jostad was my father."
That wasn't strictly true, but it got the bland smile and obligatory laugh it normally did. "Of course, Mads. None of us wish to become our parents, do we?"
"I would think an archaeologist would be interested in their family's past."
Olivia chuckled. "You sound like my father. I grew up thinking only of the future, yet here I am, obsessed with the past. It would have been nice if he'd lived to see it."
"He was an archaeologist?"
Mads asked. He didn't mind the small talk. "Not at all. A religious man, devoted to some of the older beliefs in the area. Pre-Christian, if you can believe that." Mads took a turn at the polite chuckle.
"Sometimes I find the Old Norse beliefs more compelling than what came after. Harder hitting."
Olivia appraised him before breaking out in a smile. "You didn't come all this way to hear a woman speak of old beliefs. You wish to see the altar? It is quite unusual."
"I suppose so, yes. You said you also discovered a box there?"
"Yes, and I think it confirms Dr. Barrow's hypothesis that this place was used over centuries. The box is hardly weathered. More traditional-looking than the statue, though. It really is remarkable. Whoever was able to put such distress into her face was quite talented. Then to hide it under this muck? It took us a week merely to clean away the dirt clogging the end."